division of polynomials, you do just like when you did division back in elementary school, long division. It's the same process. So you start the m minus 8, m squared minus 7m minus 11. All right, you have to have every one of the exponents. So this is squared, so this is m to the 1, this would be m to 0. Just like when we were adding them, you had to leave a spot if it was not there. Same thing. You have to have every exponent from the largest all the way down to where you have m to the 1 or m to the 0, whatever. So let's start. M into m squared. So m times what gets me m squared? M. All right. So m times m is m squared. M times negative 8 is negative 8m. Now, so the first thing you do, what times what multiplies to give you the first. Then we're going to subtract. So when I subtract, that means the opposite of m, the opposite of 8m. So m minus m squared is 0. Negative 7 plus 8 is 1m. And then you bring down, just like in normal division. All right. So m times what gets me m? 1. So positive 1. So m times m, 1 times m is 1m. 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. But I have to subtract. When I subtract, that means the opposite of this and the opposite of this. So that goes away. So negative 8, negative 11, plus 8. Negative 3. M times what is negative 3?
Hold on, wait, what did you say?
Nothing. There is nothing that I can multiply m by to get me just the number, negative 3. So this is with the remainder, negative 3. We are back just like in elementary school when we were doing long division. So the answer is m plus 1 with the remainder of negative 3. Now, it's been a long time since we did just regular old long division. I know most students hated it then. They hate it now, but we got to do it. Now, how did I check when we did long division in elementary? How did we check our answer to see if it was correct? So what was the opposite of division? All right, so now I'm going to take m minus 8 times m plus 1. M minus 8 times m plus 1. M minus 8 times m plus 1. And we're going to multiply back together. Let's see if we get the same answer. M minus 8 m plus 1. 1 times negative 8, negative 8. 1 times m is 1 m. M times negative 8, negative 8 m. M times m is m squared. Minus 8 minus 7m, m squared. Now, and then I had, so what did I do with my remainder? You add it back in. So you multiply, and then you add whatever your remainder was. So this one was a 7.
The remainder was a 3.
Negative 3.
It was a, yeah.
Negative 3. Well, it was right there. Woo. My brain. So I'm going to take the negative 3 and put it with my negative 8. Gives me m squared minus 7m minus 11. It's not really a hard process. You just have to be very, very cautious. You have to go slow and think through each step. All right.
Wait a minute.
So this is how we answered it, and we got the answer of m plus 1 was our answer. So you multiply your answer back by what you were dividing, add your remainder, and it gets you back to what you started with. That's how you check. All right. Let's go to the next problem. I am recording this, so if you do need it. All right, look at the next problem. All right. All right, so we start. The divided by goes on the outside. So we have n minus 7 to n squared minus 3n minus 21. All right. So n times what is going to give me n squared? N. All right, so n times n is n squared. N times negative 7 is negative 7n. All right, so when I subtract, that means I take the opposite of this one and the opposite of this one, because you have to subtract. So n minus n, that is 0, n squared. Negative 3n plus 7n is 4n minus 21. Then you bring down. So n times what is going to get me 4n? Positive 4. So positive 4. 4 times n is 4n. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. So I have to subtract, so that means take the opposite of that piece, take the opposite of that piece. Positive 28, negative 21 is 7. N will never divide into 7, so 7 is my remainder.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Remainder.
You didn't say thank you.
Put on it, put the R.
You didn't
7.
say thank you.
Ah. n plus 4, remainder 7.
R6.
Alright. Then you would go back, multiply n minus 7 times n plus 4, and then you would add 7.
Oh,
So let's do that. N minus 7 times n plus 4. 7 times 4 is 7. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28.
yep,
4 times n is positive 4n.
yep,
N times negative 7, negative 7n. N times n squared.
yep.
So we have n squared minus 3n minus 28. I had a remainder of 7, so plus 7. We get n squared minus 3n minus 21. Is that what I started with?
Yep,
So we have the correct answer.
yep.
It's not that it's hard to do this. You just have to go step by step by step.
Too dang on, Lee.
Alright, let's look at the next problem.
You said one more.
Alright. This one's a little bit different.
Look, man.
Oh, man, they got too many.
So first thing we're going to check. I
I
have a k to the 3, k to the 2, k to the 1, k to the 0. I have all of my pieces.
Yeah.
So I write it just like I see it. So 5k minus 4
We're trying to write the thing down, Lee.
in, scoot this over a little bit.
Yeah, so this will be a lot.
So 5k minus 4, 50k cubed plus 10k squared minus 35k minus 7. Start off the same way. 5 goes into 50. How many times? 10. Alright, so but we're not finished there. K times what is k cubed? K squared. Alright, so that's 50 k cubed. So 10 times 4 is negative 40 k squared.
Why
What?
you K squared?
Because you have to get this k has got to divide into your k cubed.
I don't get it.
So k times k squared gets me k cubed. You have to look at the whole first piece, whole first
So
term.
you just add in the exponent.
When you multiply exponents, you add them. Yes. All right. So 10 times negative 4 is minus 40k squared. All right, we subtract. So when I subtract, it means take the opposite of this and the opposite of this. All right. So 10 plus 40 is 50k squared. You subtract 35k minus 7. Because this is a 0 and it's a 0. All right. So 5k goes into 50. How many? 5 goes into 50 how many times? 10. All right. It's positive 10. K times what is k squared? K. All right. So 10k times 5k is 50k squared. 10 times negative 4 is negative 40. Okay. There's nothing here. Subtract. That means take the opposite of this one the opposite of this one. So 40 minus 35 is 5K. Alright, so 5K goes into 5K. Good. Plus 1. So 5K. 1 times -4 is -4. But when I subtract, it means take the opposite of that one, the opposite of that one. So -4 plus, -7 plus 4 is -3. Can I go any more?
No.
So my answer is 10K squared plus 10K plus 1. Remainder,
Three.
-3. All right,
Right.
check it.
We know it's right.
You're gonna have to check it on your assignment.
It's too much.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I'm gonna need some long.
All right,
it's too much to check.
so to check it, you multiply 10K squared plus 10K plus 1 times 5K minus 4. -4 times 1 minus 4. -4 times 10K, -40K. -4 times 10K squared, -40K squared.
Oh, no.
5 times 1 is 5K. 5 times 10 is 50K squared.
Girl, I ain't gonna know
Alright. So it comes out when you add it is 50K cubed plus 10K squared minus 35K minus 4. Then I have to put my remainder of -3 back.
this. Miss, I ain't gonna remember all that, man.
50K cubed plus 10K squared minus 35K minus 7. Then we get back to what we started with.
It took a while.
Okay.
Ever since I left, now I want
Alright. Again, it's not that it's hard, it's you have to do the process. A repetitive process over and over and over. Alright. Anybody have any questions?
I got a lot.
Miss Jenkins,
I'm not Miss Jenkins.
Miss James,
Cause you're looking at me for calling her.
in just a minute. Any other questions about the work? Alright. So I am going to be nice and only assign 10 problems.
Bro, what is that?
You should have.
I saw that.
Now,
You did all your
You should have said 2 problems at least.
10.
Yes, cut it in half.
You got barely, no fix me.
I already cut it in half.
Oh,
Alright.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get me.
So, I mean, I could assign 89 to 104.
A lot.
How am I gonna do it?
So,
You said 95? Not 89 to 189.
so I'm going to be nice and cut it down to 10 instead of having 16 or 18.
Why does it got to divide by?
Alright,
It's a problem, bro.
so your assignment is 89 to 98. Now,
Okay.
so let's look at problem
Did you say 89
Because I
to
got my
98.
Miss them hang out the bathroom.
No, I asked first.
Okay, today.
I'm
What page is it?
waiting.
What page is it? Miss,
49.
49.
Now,
I ain't put
listen.
This how many plans work with you.
If you look at problem number 93, let's look at it.
You said, what's the homework?
Problem number 93, let's look at it. All right. What's the first thing that you noticed?
It say the bottom.
They don't have no parentheses.
All right, so we're going to start off. This is what goes on the outside. So x squared plus 2. Now what do you notice?
The 5 4 them, you know, right there.
What about the,
It goes in inside.
but what do we notice? I have an x to the 4. I don't have an x cubed. That's an x squared.
All it says.
So you, listen, this is where you're going to mess up. I can tell you right now. If you're not listening, this is where you're going to mess up.
Wait a minute, let me take care my notes.
You have to have x to each exponent. So this is 5x to the 4. How many x cubes do I have? 0.
None.
So you have to put in plus 0 x cubed. I have an x squared plus x plus 1. This piece right here, you have to put it in. If it's missing one of the exponents, you have to put in a plus 0 for that exponent. If you don't do that, you will mess up. Alright, so x times, this is a 1. 1 times what is 5? 5. How many x squareds does it take to get x to the 4?
I mean, what square?
I have x squared, and I need to make it x to the 4. So I gotta have an x squared. So 5 times 1 is 5. X squared times x squared is x to the 4. 5 times 2 is 10. X squared is 10x squared. Alright. So I have 0x cubed. Take the opposite. Negative 13x squared. So x squared times what gives me x cubed? X. So x times x squared is
I'm confused.
She confused too.
no, you just confused me. All right, we'll come back to this one on Monday.
Good.
Anyway, she wants,
You just, somebody said something, my train of thought went over here, now I'm confused. No,
so it's not,
this is an assignment that has to be finished by next Tuesday. So we'll talk about this one on Monday. You can do the first 4.
yeah,
I mean, there's some of these you can do. Alright, we'll come back and look at this. I don't know, my train of thought just went out the window.
Cause the brain tired, just like.
My brain's tired just like yours. Alright,
That's the bathroom, that's the bathroom.